The subject of today's debate is who should pay for a low-carbon energy system. And I was reflecting on this and thinking that exactly 5 months ago today, actually, Jeremy and I were together on a panel. I don't know if it was this very room, but it was certainly this very building, speaking at a conference entitled The £200 Billion Generation Game. So I guess it seems only fitting that having looked at how much it'll cost, we should be back here together again today, looking at who should pay for it. To cut to the chase, I think all of us will pay, and I think we're already paying. Consumers are paying through various levies and obligations within their bills, and they'll continue to do so. Just one example is the proposed new levy on carbon capture and storage. Business is certainly paying through the EU ETS, through the carbon reduction commitment, and now through the proposal unilaterally to underpin the carbon price in the UK, which will mean that UK businesses are paying something here that the rest of Europe is not paying. And that's especially if government sticks to its early proposal to exempt domestic consumers from that. And although it's often overlooked or perhaps conveniently ignored, we and our shareholder are paying, about £1 billion a year, in fact. Over each of the past 3 years, E.ON has invested significantly more in the UK than it's taken out in profit, and that seems unlikely to change. So the first point that I'd like to stress this morning is that there's clearly an advantage to all, be they consumers or UK PLC, in minimising the total cost of decarbonising our energy system. Those of you who have met me before may have heard me say that it's very rare to get an E.ON person speaking at an event such as this without having a reference made to the trilemma, the three-way challenge of balancing low carbon, security of supply and affordability. And today's debate, clearly no exception, but I actually think this goes straight to the heart of the debate. We need to deliver a low-carbon future at the least possible cost to consumers and with confidence that we can keep the lights on. So what are we going to do about minimising the cost to all of us, making sure that we invest in the right solutions and that customers are at the heart of those solutions? We've always argued that investing in a range of fuels and technologies is the right way to achieve that. So specifically, a mix of nuclear, of renewables such as wind and biomass, and fossil fuels with carbon capture and storage. So we need to ensure that we have the right framework in place to allow for investment in that low carbon generation future that the UK needs. So here, I would urge policymakers not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Competitive, decentralised markets work and have delivered results. Whether we're focused on building the low-carbon power station of the future or looking at the emerging markets for microgeneration technologies in our homes. So whilst we would accept that the current wholesale market framework isn't fit for purpose in a world where low-carbon generation is what we want to incentivise, our message to the government as they consider options for reform is simple. Let's keep our solutions at the end of the spectrum, which retains a role for markets and for competition. Another part of the solution is smarter electricity networks to help cope with the higher proportion of intermittent and distributed generation on the system. Smart grids are integral to making the low-carbon energy systems of the future more cost-effective, more reliable, and with the customer at their heart. One of the first major steps that the UK will take towards this vision will be smart meters. The government's ambition in this area is definitely to be applauded. However, we also need to recognise that this process could potentially be seen as intrusive by consumers. Consumer confidence is critical, and that could be undermined if the primary objective becomes simply how quickly we can complete the rollout, rather than how well we do so. Technology aside, in a world where we do expect prices to be higher, we have to do more to help consumers to help themselves to manage their energy. As you all travelled here on the tube or the train this morning, you may have seen our advertising posing the question, why on earth would an energy company want me to use less energy? The answer is because our ideal in the future is to have more consumers, more customers, all using less energy. It would be better for our customers because they'd have lower bills. It would be better for us because lower bills generally mean happier customers who want to stay with us. And it would be better for everybody because it would mean that we would reduce carbon emissions. So we're working with our customers to help them understand that we're serious about getting them, as we term it, energy fit, to help them save money, save energy, and contribute towards saving the planet. To do that, they need to trust us. And that's why we're tackling head on in our advertising with that question. In the same way as people have now become accustomed in the home and at work to thinking in terms of reduce, reuse, recycle, our aim with energy is to help customers insulate their homes, moderate their use, and where appropriate, generate their own. We have the same ambition with our corporate customers. We can help them understand the detail of their consumption and how they can reduce it, or how they can take more control of it through generating their own electricity. So to sum up, the cost of low carbon energy will fall on all of us, consumer, industry, energy company, which means that we should seek to minimise it. This is not just about policy, vital though that clearly is. Relationships also have an important role to play, particularly in taking consumers with us to a place where taking these actions in relation to their homes or their businesses becomes almost second nature. And finally, all of us leading this transition, government, energy companies, NGOs as well, should recognise that honesty about what it will cost may be one of the greatest drivers of behavioural change that we'll see. Thank you.